we get on your altars, right, I was amazed when I seen the library, right? I thought I had something slick going in my house. I ain't got shit on you, right? How many books you think you got?
Maybe I don't. It's so many, even little small, intricate books. So it's well over a couple thousand when you really. Because I got them from the floor all the way up, and I didn't make them, and I laid them horizontal from the floor.
Right.
So if they were vertical, they would reach all the way up to the wall.
Right.
So it's a lot more than what it looks. I mean, it's just tons of stuff, and all, But I've been collecting for, I've been on my odyssey, as far as my book odyssey, well over 20-something years. So, on that particular level, and on that particular level. So, you got to get you a library. It's always key, because what happens here is a lot of people. I bought books and didn't read them and didn't tap into them to 10 years later or 5 years later. And what happens here is this. Because some people get discouraged. They say, well, you mean to tell me I got to read every book from cover to cover? You don't really learn anything from reading a book cover to cover. Most of these books, on occult books and history books, are not read to be, not made to be read cover to cover, because you don't retain anything if you do that cover to cover. You're just going over data. What it is this. Late at night, one night, you might have an epiphany. And this is where the library comes in. You might have an epiphany, a divine thought, and you need to expound on that with some scholarship. The more to get more information on it. So what will happen here is, if you have a library, you can just go in your library. You see what I'm saying? And you can, basically quench your thirst of knowledge. Whereas if you don't have the library, you might have to wait until you got to go buy the book. You got to go find the book. So that's why, they say don't eat, buy books. You see, very key.
So now I know why I don't read all the books.
No, you're not supposed to read them. Cause a lot of people, that's one of the things. A lot of people get discouraged because some people are trained on reading novels, and you don't read history books, or you don't read esoteric books or books of wisdom. You don't read those books from cover to cover. As a matter of fact, it has gotten so spirit with me over the years until I would basically throw the book down and it would open to the page which I need to read. I've done that thousands of times. You see, so it's an art form, but it's an essential to have a library.
You think it should be more so like a reference library, versus, like you said, something that you just regurgitate back to people constantly, or should it just be something that you?
Well, you pretty much if you ever get interested in a certain subject, then you should exhaust yourself on that subject. But you should keep these subjects should constantly come, and so a reference library or anything, like I said, a lot of these books, you can look at this book and know this book has a certain amount of wisdom in it, but you might not be up to the point of even researching at the time. Buy the book anyway, because it might become a time when you might need it. You see, so and so that time will come. Like I said, I bought books and then read them 5 years later. And when I read it, was right on time, and I knew when I was reading it, I was only supposed to read it at the time that I was reading it. It's like some people coming into consciousness. Some people coming into consciousness will go, well, man, I'm 30. I'm 40. Why didn't I learn this when I was a young child? No, whenever you come into consciousness was the time you were supposed to come into consciousness. Let's say if you came into consciousness premature, maybe you came into consciousness at 19 and you came in at 5, then you might have abused something and didn't understand something, and you might have be out of consciousness. You see what I'm saying? So whenever you're coming into consciousness, don't get discouraged and don't get upset because you're coming into consciousness at a later age. The time when you were supposed to come into consciousness is the time, it's right on time. So when they say the student is ready, the teacher will appear.